I'd like to thank the Honourable Member for Tipton and Wednesbury for bringing forward this debate today and giving us, as Black Country Members of Parliament, and yourself, Madam Chairman, the opportunity to highlight some of the lot that is the Black Country at its best. And I think 90 minutes doesn't really give us long enough to be able to talk with the passion that we all would like to, and to name check all those wonderful organisations and individuals that, that make up the Black Country and its history, its present, and no doubt its future as well, but I know we'll all give it our best shot. So held on the 14th of July every year for over a decade now, the Black Country Day, as we know, is a time to honour and celebrate the incredible spirit of our region, from our tight-knit communities to our thriving businesses and tourism and our remarkable industrial heritage. And today gives us that opportunity to share a little bit of it with all those people who decide to tune in to Westminster Hall on Parliament TV. Now, of course, my constituency of Aldridge-Brownhills was not historically part of the Black Country. Its incorporation came in April 1974 as part of the major reorganisation of local government in England. And it was originally named from the Urban District Council, that class of local authorities that were abolished by the 1974 reforms. And having previously come under Staffordshire, we were then absorbed into Walsall Borough Council and hence joined the Black Country. So although we have a Staffordshire past, the Black Country is very much our present and it's our future, though I do acknowledge that to many in parts of my constituency, they still do look, and rightly so, to Staffordshire and enjoy the historic and familial connections, and I, for one, will never, ever forget that. But the Black Country is renowned for its contribution to the Industrial Revolution, as we've heard. From the late 18th century onwards, the region developed into a major centre for coal mining, for iron smelting and steel production. During the 19th century, the Black Country became noted for its iron and its steel industries. Wrought iron production, chain making and the manufacture of locks and nails were central to the region's economy. And these industries, as we know, became essential to Britain's railway, maritime and construction sectors. And as you know very well, Madam Chairman, as a Walsall MP yourself, for parts of Walsall, our major contribution as a borough was our leather industry, and the origins of Walsall's leather industry date back to the Middle Ages. So I want to use this opportunity just to speak a little bit about the lorrinery trade, which is what it is known as, which continued to grow in the 17th and 18th centuries. In many of the town's leather goods, the trade pioneers were bridle cutters, and by settling in Walsall, they could call upon the skills of local lorriners for their bits and their buckles. And in the early 19th century, leatherworking became an important local trade, providing employment, manufacturing opportunities right across the borough, including in my own constituency. And after 1840, the development of the town's leatherworking industry gained pace. The arrival of the South Staffordshire Railway to Walsall in 1847, Madam Chairman, gave a boost to the trade. And by 1851, there were 75 firms making bridles, saddles and harness, because, of course, horses were an essential part of Victorian life. There were around 3.3 million horses in late Victorian Britain. They provided a huge market for Walsall's manufacturers. And in the last decades of the 19th century, the Walsall leather trades entered a golden age of prosperity. Exports boomed and Walsall firms sent their products all over the British Empire. And sadly, foreign wars were a particularly lucrative source of trade. But at the turn of the century, the 20th century, Walsall was home to nearly a third of Britain's saddlers and harness makers. And today it remains best known for making saddlery and harness. Yet from 1900, these trades began a long decline. And one by one, the traditional roles of the horse were challenged and replaced by the engine. The great age of the horse had ended. So Walsall firms had to, and they did, adapt to this changing world. Otherwise, they would have disappeared. Some had been making light leather goods, such as travelling bags, hat boxes, since the 1870s. But from 1900 onwards, they concentrated more on this type of work. And since the 60s, the light leather goods trade has met with tough competition from overseas producers. and Walsall's surviving leather goods firms have concentrated very much on the luxury top end of the market. But some of the goods for the world's most famous brand names are made across our borough. Indeed, one of Walsall's most famous clients was Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth. And the late Queen was rarely seen without her Lorna handbag. And I must share this little story, but most people have probably watched it if they've seen the film or the sketch. In the famous Platinum Jubilee sketch with Paddington Bear, she pulled a marmalade sandwich out of one of her bags, which was proudly made in Walsall. The bag, I might add, not the sandwich, of course. And I believe the Lorna handbag is still a favourite of many royals. But alongside handbags, Walsall is not just known for its handbags. Canals and waterways were critical to the Black Country's industrial success, and they do remain today integral to our local communities. Locally, in Walsall, in my constituency, we've regularly hosted the Inland Waterways Festival of Water. In Brownhills, we have the Canalside Festival each August. And our canals, which are really rooted in our industrial heritage, play a key role today, providing opportunities for walking, for cycling, for wildlife corridors, and simply enjoying being outdoors and so much more. And I think it's a good example of how the region is adapting to the change over the years. Because our canals were critical in the Black Country's industrial heritage, enabling the transportation of raw materials like coal and iron onto local furnaces and workshops. The Worley and Essington Canal runs through a large part of my constituency. It dates back to an Act of Parliament, the Birmingham Canal Navigation Act 1972. Originally built to transport coal from the mines near Worley, a new invention, it was later extended to Wolverhampton and to Walsall and terminates at Ogley Junction near Brownhills. The Worley and Essington Canal is affectionately known locally as the Curly Worley, which derives from the fact it's very much a contour canal, twisting and turning to avoid any gradients and thus the need for locks. But, Chair, while I'm on the subject of transport, it would, of course, be remiss of me not to draw a link between the role canals played in our past and the role that transport will play in our future. Transport connectivity is vital for our communities, unlocking opportunities, access to jobs and education, and that's why the government, it's vital that the government honour the commitment of the last Mayor, Andy Street of the West Midlands, to deliver that train station back in Aldridge that I'm always talking about, and will continue to do so. But as we look to the future, improving transport links and, most importantly, delivering that train station will unleash opportunities so we can rediscover that vim and that vigour of our industrial spirit with access for the next generation as well as our generation to good jobs, to better connectivity and to opportunity. Pleased that my honourable friend was able to secure this day for the debate today. It's been an absolute pleasure to participate in this and to have that really important opportunity as a Member of Parliament to celebrate the heritage of an area that I am deeply honoured to represent. Thank you.